In 2023, after months of dealing with disturbing activity inside their home, a family finally decided to install a camera in their dining room, hoping to capture undeniable proof of what had been happening around them. What they recorded was something that most paranormal skeptics usually dismiss immediately. But this time, it felt different, because what appears in the footage is not something people can easily brush off as dust or a camera glitch. The video, uploaded to Reddit's Unexplained community by The Box Is Empty, shows what looks like an orb streaking across the room before slamming directly into the table and shooting away seconds later. People often label orbs as harmless dust particles reflecting light, but it is hard to ignore footage where one seems to cause actual physical impact. And this was not the only case where strange activity inside a dining room escalated into something destructive. Another family had also begun feeling uneasy in their home. Their dining area constantly carried an unsettling atmosphere, as though another presence was sharing the room with them. Glasses left on the table would vibrate on their own, and toys belonging to their children somehow kept appearing there without explanation. Eventually, they removed anything fragile from the area, hoping it would stop the disturbances. But even after clearing the room, the heavy feeling never disappeared. Wanting evidence they could send to their realtor, they installed a security camera and intentionally left dishes and crockery on the table to see whether anything unusual would happen again. What they captured ended up being far more intense than they expected. Take a look. Orbs are usually dismissed as harmless tricks of light or floating dust caught on camera, but these seemed far more aggressive. Instead of drifting aimlessly, they appeared almost deliberate, moving with force and leaving destruction behind them. Could this footage finally be enough to convince people that orbs should not always be ignored? In November 2024, a woman named Elsie and several of her friends decided to end their night with a Ouija board session. As expected, things only became worse from there. A few nights after the session, strange events started happening inside the house. They had already uploaded footage of the Ouija session online, and many viewers immediately warned them that they were ignoring nearly every supposed rule connected to using the board. At first, the girls did not take any of it seriously. They never believed anything would actually follow them home, at least not until the activity began escalating. The house only had one security camera positioned to capture the living room, front entrance, and kitchen dining area, but according to Elsie's, that single camera ended up documenting some of the most terrifying moments they had ever experienced. The disturbances began subtly. One of the first clips shows Elsie's younger sisters lying on the couch when odd things suddenly begin happening around them. Some viewers argued the footage could easily be explained away by hidden people, sudden drafts, or electronic interference affecting the television. But there is still something deeply unsettling about the way the events unfold, especially once the girl's father wakes up and rushes into the room after hearing the noise. Even after repeatedly pressing the power button, the television refuses to turn off. Of course, there could be a technical explanation behind the malfunction, but considering everything else that happened afterward, it becomes harder to dismiss the possibility that something else may have been influencing the house after the Ouija session. Elsie's later admitted that not only did they completely ignore the traditional rules surrounding Ouija boards, but they also mocked whatever they believed they had contacted. During the session, they were allegedly told the spirit was a woman, yet they continued referring to it disrespectfully as it. According to her, that may have been when the activity became noticeably more aggressive. Soon afterward, the camera began capturing even stranger incidents throughout the home. As the disturbances became more physical, the group finally decided they could not handle it anymore. They claimed they were suffering from sleepless nights, terrifying sightings of a woman wandering through the house, and an overwhelming sensation that something was trying to force its way into them mentally and emotionally. Desperate to make it stop, they returned home after hiding in their car for several hours and decided to burn the Ouija board they had used, hoping it would end whatever had attached itself to them.
Oh my god. Oh my god. This has to be done. Dude. Oh my god. Iffy. Wait, I hear. Why is it stopping? Oh my god. Guys, this is a. Ah! Oh my god.
After leaving the board burning for over an hour, they eventually returned expecting to find nothing but ashes. Instead, they discovered something they never anticipated.
I need to go check, like, this is fully over, like, if the Ouija is, like, already gone, so check. Well, I really think it is, I don't know, but yeah, let's go. Oh my god. Oh my god, there's no way this is not over.
The ending does feel somewhat exaggerated, and it is entirely possible that the board shown afterward was swapped with another between cuts. Still, the footage they captured following the original Ouija session remains genuinely disturbing. Whether this was an authentic haunting or simply an elaborate homemade horror project remains open for debate. What do you think really happened? At approximately 11:40 p.m. on a Sunday night, two nurses working the late shift at a dialysis clinic were preparing their final patient to leave for the evening. The clinic was nearly closed, and only one patient remained waiting in the pickup area outside. But before heading out, something unusual caught their attention. According to Josephine, the nurse who submitted this footage, someone appeared to be rummaging through the dumpsters nearby, creating loud noises outside the building. She explained that this sort of thing was fairly common in the area, but that was not the reason she decided to share the video. While both nurses were outside investigating the noise, something unsettling happened inside the clinic. Thankfully, the patient involved later gave Josephine permission to release the footage publicly because otherwise, very few people would have believed the story. This is what the camera recorded. Moments after being left alone, the woman sitting in the wheelchair suddenly screams and covers her face in terror. It is the kind of instinctive reaction someone has after witnessing something horrifying. According to Josephine, the patient later claimed she saw a disfigured person slowly approaching her from inside the lobby. Yet when reviewing the footage, no visible person appears nearby. At least, not at first glance. If you focus carefully on the reflection in the television screen, a dark figure can briefly be seen materializing before disappearing near the patient. 1 second it appears farther away, and moments later it seems to be directly behind her, almost as though it intentionally moved closer. Josephine explained that they initially assumed the woman had imagined the entire thing, but after reviewing the recording themselves, the staff became much less certain. Even months later, employees at the clinic reportedly continue discussing the footage because none of them can fully explain what was captured that night. So what exactly did that woman see sitting alone in the lobby? To this day, nobody truly knows. A man named Willow says his own house has gradually stopped feeling like a home and started feeling more like a prison. Strange incidents occur around him constantly, and after ignoring them for so long, he eventually decided he needed proof. He began placing cameras throughout the property and recording whenever unusual activity started happening nearby. But according to Willow, documenting the disturbances only seemed to make them worse. One evening, a plasma ball lamp suddenly begins flickering on and off repeatedly. At first glance, it sounds easy to explain as an electrical malfunction. However, there is one disturbing detail that completely changes the situation. The lamp is not plugged in.
I will also show as well the plasma ball. Right, look, it's if I flick the switch on the back, just so you can see that it's not battery powered, and there's no plug sockets even on this wall either. Here's the plug. Like you can see, here's the plug. Look, I can pull it and it's the same plug right here. And yeah, there's not even a plug socket behind this wall, so for all those people saying it's fake, there's no plug socket here.
As the unplugged light continues flashing, a nearby box slowly rotates before falling onto the floor. Seconds later, a door beside it creaks open by itself, moving in a way that almost resembles someone pushing it from the opposite side. Willow claims this type of activity has become alarmingly common throughout the house. On another night, one of his security cameras activates after detecting movement in the room. A stack of video games suddenly collapses, followed by a chair violently sliding across the floor on its own. It does not appear to drift naturally. Instead, it looks as though an invisible force shoved it with real power. Later, the activity spreads into the kitchen, where the washing machine door swings open and shut repeatedly before slamming closed with force. Most of these incidents reportedly happen while Willow is asleep, but not every encounter occurs from a distance. During one moment, while crouched beside a cabinet, Willow accidentally catches his fingers in the handle and cries out in pain. Almost instantly afterward, a wooden chair suddenly launches across the room as if something unseen reacted directly to his scream. Individually, each clip might have a logical explanation. But when the timing lines up this perfectly, the footage becomes much harder to dismiss completely. Paranormal or not, whatever is happening inside Willow's home appears to be escalating rapidly. Another man claims he has been dealing with a relentless presence inside his house, something that seems completely unconcerned with whether it is daytime or the middle of the night. The first incident occurred around 3:33 a.m. after he suddenly woke up to strange noises coming from somewhere nearby. Still groggy and half asleep, he grabbed his phone and cautiously followed the sound, trying to determine what could possibly be moving around his house at that hour.
This goddamn sound is still going. Let me check it out. Maybe I can catch it on video or something. Stop. Where are you, damn raccoons?
The moment he opened the door, the noise stopped immediately. It did not slowly fade away or continue elsewhere in the distance. It ended instantly, as though whatever caused it knew he had arrived. At first, he convinced himself it must have been something ordinary, maybe a raccoon or another animal hiding somewhere in the walls. But that explanation quickly became difficult to believe. Not long afterward, while he was away at work, his home security system sent him a motion alert from inside the house. Since nobody was supposed to be home, he immediately checked the footage. This is what he saw. At first, the room appears completely empty. There is no obvious intruder and nothing clearly visible moving through the frame. But moments later, the door slowly begins moving on its own, almost as if something unseen is standing behind it. What makes the footage even more disturbing is the audio. Strange sounds echo through the room, as though someone or something is freely moving throughout the house. Then, without warning, the door suddenly shuts by itself. At that point, the raccoon theory becomes far less convincing. The timing, the movement, and the way each incident connects together make the situation feel far more deliberate. Some viewers believe the footage points toward an intelligent presence rather than simple residual energy, something aware of its surroundings and capable of interacting physically with objects. Others think whatever is inside the home may intentionally wait until the homeowner leaves before becoming active. What makes the entire situation even creepier is the progression itself. It begins with strange noises that can still be rationalized, but gradually evolves into undeniable physical activity that becomes increasingly difficult to explain, almost as if the unseen presence is growing bolder over time. With no confirmed intruder, no official explanation, and no updates revealing what was truly inside that house, the mystery remains completely unsolved.
Wait for tomorrow, and kindly don't forget to subscribe. If you want to share your own story or want to contact us, you can mail scarycamyt@gmail.com.